never slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement.
Everything I do so instinctive and so passionate. Every word I move so descriptive like an adjective. I got a vendetta against people who patented being negative when you should be getting after it. I got facts over tracks, this and that. Spitting slow, spitting fast. I could roast, I could gas. Think I'm okay at last, but I don't know if that can erase all the past. And the pettiness, a reflection of the emptiness. Hilarious, you think you're worth my time, you're delirious. Mysterious, because you hide behind a fake exterior. Inferior, you know I'll always be a bit superior. Get off of me, this ain't no humble brag. I want you to hear words, you can say them back. I want you to feel free from the chains that last, and to believe in what you got, it was built to last, yeah.
Now that I've been put through, I never got anyone's help. I had to do it all myself.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit. I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough and wanna hate this, I'll always show up and make a statement. I don't ever.
Hey guys, Coach Dan here. Now we're at the gym for another early one today. One of these busy days I've got. It's pretty much bang on 4. So it's an early one. The last time I did this, I trained like a massive sook. No, I'm kidding. But it wasn't so pleasant. So the goal today is not to be as much a little bitch. We're going push workout, early push workout. So hopefully I can start to get accustomed to this early start, because this might be a regular thing. And remember, you know, not everyone has to get up this early. Like maybe you could skip a workout like this. But for me, again, I have high level expectations. I want to do the best I can, and that takes a high level commitment. So high level expectations, high level commitment, that's kind of, they go hand in hand. So push workouts for me involve chest, shoulder and tricep training all together. So we start off with the chest because that's primary, that's the most important for today. So we get building the double D's. No, wait, I don't know if guys have double D's, but that's what we're doing. Chest, shoulders, lateral part of the shoulder, front part of the shoulder, they all come together in this workout because the front part of the shoulder comes hand in hand with a lot of pressing movement. So if you look at that kind of motion, this anterior deltoid, or that front part of the shoulder, will help pull in a lot of these situations. So it makes sense programming wise to put it on this day as well. All right, we're going, we've got some pressing movements, some flies, we're getting it all going. Nothing different from last week, just about trying to get that little bit better. And let's go. There's someone in the gym actually, so early start for them as well. Let's go get it. Incline bench press first with the cambered bar. So you can see this big dent in the bar as I go to press, which you'll see in a second here, is going to allow for a big baller stretch through the chest, through the titties, more than a standard bar. So a standard bar would come down and obviously meet your chest, can't go any further. With this, I'm going to allow further range of motion, larger stretch, and potentially that's good for muscle growth, better for muscle growth potentially. So with some of the recent research surrounding training muscles in a lengthened position, this is going to allow my chest and some of the other muscle groups to get to a more lengthened position. So if you've done a incline bench press before, all that stuff applies. It just means that you are going to get a further range, a bigger stretch. So plant your feet tight so you have a nice solid base. I've got to obviously set this bench up so I'm not smashing into the rack. When I'm ready to go, taking the outside of the camber, the dent in the bar, directly outside, control the way down, run that big stretch, press up from there. So again, for this one versus a standard bench press, you're probably looking at lower weight, but lower weight for potentially more muscle growth is not a bad thing. So here, 2 heavier sets of 5 to 10 reps, 1 finisher set of 10 to 15 reps. So getting on this incline, potentially working the higher part of the chest, is something that I'm trying to work on at the moment. All right, couple of minutes here and then we'll be ready to go at our working weight. Low incline cambered bar bench press done. 2 sets, 5 to 10, 1 set 10 to 15 to finish off as a bit of a finisher. So again, that kink in the bar allows for the big ball of stretch through the chest. Not something you have to do with every single exercise you get, but again, current evidence is suggesting it might be a good idea in some of your training to make sure you train the muscle in a lengthened position. So if I had a standard bar, it would stop because the bar hits my chest. For this one, I can go deeper, potentially getting that bigger stretch. So that's the rationale behind that one. For me, it's always felt really effective. One of the pains at the moment is I'm not getting much better at it, so might have to play around with something there, go to the drawing board, see what is potentially going on there. Okay, machine chest press coming up. Let's go. Machine chest press next. So something you can keep in mind with chest training, which is not the case with all muscles, it's the case with a few different ones, is it has multiple, or the chest or the pec major has multiple insertion points. So basically it'll originate somewhere on your arm, and then you have fibers that are kind of traveling in towards your torso, some of them coming in towards the sternum, some coming down towards the ribs and abdominal fascia, and some up towards the clavicle. So when training the chest, potentially there's some merit in training the arm, where we're not only pulling across like this directly towards the sternum, sometimes pulling up a little bit towards the collarbone, which is part of the insertion point, and then sometimes down. So you think about, you know, incline pressing, which we've just done. We now go to something horizontal, and even something you might see flies or decline presses to kind of develop the chest overall. So for some muscle groups, that's got some merit where they go to different points or insert in different points. Back's another one. Things like biceps are pretty straightforward. They have very similar insertion points, origins, one of the two. So maybe changing the position of your arm isn't going to make a major difference. But again, we do it where it makes sense and not where it doesn't, right? So now we go into a chest press, a horizontal variation. I go yoga block behind the shoulder blades, again, for the big stretch through the chest. I set my seat height such that it lines up with the part of the chest that I'm wanting to work. So this for me is a little bit above nipple level. And then again, now we're pulling our shoulder across the body towards the sternum. So if the incline bench kind of makes your arm angle up a touch, this is now coming directly horizontal. We're going 2 sets here. Something I might do this week, again, struggling for a bit of progress here, so I might go an increase in weight instead of trying bumping the reps up like I've been trying to do for the last couple of weeks. So yeah, let's add 2.3 kgs and see if we can't get same reps. Here we go. Machine chest press in the bag. So yoga block behind the shoulder blades pushes me further this forward, so the handles go further this way, bigger stretch. This thing has a little toggle attachment, but it hasn't worked since 1990. No, it hasn't worked in a few years, and they're not likely to change it probably, so I can't change the depth. So this is the tool that I use. Pushes me further forward, allows a bigger stretch through the chest. You can do the same. These are pretty cost effective. Chuck them in your gym bag. If you have some equipment that is a bit short on range, or you are shorter and you need a bit more range, really good. Hack squats, leg press, other pressing variations where the machines just can kind of pull up short of the end range of me. I add these and it's really worthwhile. So that was an effective experiment. I've had a 10 to 15 rep range on that. I've been trying to bump it up a rep at a time and it's not been budging too well. So instead, I added 2.3 kgs, 5 pounds on this machine, and my reps will match from last week. So sometimes progression, weight, reps, as long as we're progressing, there's not really one that's better than the other. Sometimes it is a little easier to progress weight, so a couple of kgs might, over the course of 10 to 12 reps, might be easier to progress than one extra rep at your max weight. That can sometimes be a massive deal. So if we can only make a little bit of progress at a time, we can add a little bit of progress in weight. All right, machine fly coming up. Been playing around with this one to get the sweet spot for me, so hopefully we can nail it this week. Machine fly to cap the chest work off. So far we've done that incline bench, we've done a machine press, and now we're going machine fly. So flies are good from the perspective that they're a little bit more isolated of the chest. So when you think about the pressing motion, triceps heavily involved in making your arm straighten. Here, there's none of that. So it's just the arm coming across the body. If there are some other muscles contributing to this motion, it's probably a little bit of bicep, because that passes the shoulder as well, and then also the anterior deltoid, which can both contribute to this movement. But we can let the bicep chill by bending the elbow, and the anterior deltoid, I've never really found that it sort of takes over too much here. So set up the last couple of weeks. I think I introduced this maybe 3-4 weeks ago now. And I've kind of been playing around with it, and I'm going back to the initial setup that I have, because my shoulder hasn't felt very pleasant with the other setup. So I've got the seat all the way at the bottom. For me, I'm not very tall, but I'm taking all the way to the bottom. I'm going to take the standard handle, and it's going to kind of line up with the part of the chest that I'm trying to train. So we're here, soft elbow, bring the shoulders towards one another, slight bend in that elbow just lets the bicep chill, and bringing the shoulders towards the sternum. So you think about it like this, right? If my arm is coming in this path, the part of the fibers that are working, or the part of the chest that is working, is the fibers that best line up with that job. So kind of got my origin point of my chest somewhere in the front of my arm here,
And if I want to line it up such that I work whatever part of the chest I want to work, I'm going to make the resistance resist me so I can't do that motion. And then those fibers have to work hard. So I could take this seat all the way up and it will be slightly low, same with the chest press. But I kind of want it to be, you know, middle chest and maybe a little bit towards the higher part, right? So that's what I'm targeting here. Here we up the rep range as well. So we're not doing all heavy stuff. This one, I've kind of just broadly put in that 10 to 20 rep range. Maybe I'll get a little bit more specific as the next couple of weeks go on and go 10 to 15, or maybe I will go up towards 20 if it feels pretty effective for me and the progress can come that way. All right, couple of moments here. We'll get our working weight and then we will hit it. Machine fly for potentially as isolated as the chest can get. Back in the day there was like a pec deck thing like this. That might have been even better to ignore the biceps really sort of chill out there. So doing curls yesterday, the decline lying bicep curl, there's a bit of tension there, but ultimately that setup's now good for me. So for me, seat at the bottom, use these handles here. Chest kind of comes along a little bit above nipple level, like in the center. If I wanted to make this more about lower chest, I could get my seat up and then my arm will be coming down like this, sort of coming through this path, and that might be more inclined to work the lower parts of the pec. For me, that's not the focus, so that's good. I think that setup's right now. My shoulder feels very nice there. So that's how we're gonna roll with that one going forward. Just see if we can push and progress. Okay, funky, dunky, lying lateral raise version. Check this out. Here is my lying. We're on an incline cable lateral raise. So I found this one to be really effective. I like it stabilizes me, means I can just really go hard. What I have had to do the last couple of weeks is customize my setup. So figure out the height of the bench, figure out where the bench sits in relation to the machine, figure out the height of the cable arms as well, and kind of get it all right so it feels good for me and effective for me. So that does take a little bit of setup, and that's honestly taken me a couple of weeks. But now that we're here, I've noted down all my setup. So what height this is, what height this is, and you just kind of have to shuffle the bench to find. So you'll take opposite to opposite for this one, lay back on this incline, and I've chosen this kind of 45 medium incline for me. And we have our lateral raise. Cable set up kind of a bit lower than horizontal. So essentially my arm's being pulled slightly down like that, kind of stretch the delt out in just a different way than some of my other lateral raise variations. No real other justification other than, you know, I've got some lateral raise variations where my arm gets pulled across here, some like this one where it gets kind of pulled into my center on my belly, and somewhere it even comes behind the back. So yeah, for me, yeah, sometimes you can get paralysis by over-analysis and think, oh yeah, but the lateral delt is, you know, intended to do this movement, so it's got to be specifically like this. But essentially, as long as we are moving it in different paths, I think we're good to go. Not even all in the same program over the course of time. Some of these movements where the arm gets pulled across, like a cable lateral raise single arm, we get pulled across here. Some behind the back's good. Some like this one where it's kind of getting pulled into me. They're all good. And maybe just varying them over time to make sure we are ticking all the boxes. All right, we got to get comfy here. We got 5 sets, trying to get those boulder shoulders. Let's go. Lying incline cable lateral raise. So I think what I like about this one the most is when I go to close to failure, the shaking, my body moving, any of this kind of stuff actually doesn't allow me to help the movement because I'm laying down and pinned to a bench. So like if you're doing a standing lateral raise, even if you think you're holding pretty good form, often what can happen is that your body just moves a little bit. Then if you say you put your chest on a bench or something like that to take that away, you realize, oh, hang on a minute here. I wasn't doing that all with just my shoulders. I was kind of creating some momentum. Here it doesn't allow. So I'm going close to failure. Even though I'm shaking, kind of looking for a way out, my body just can't move too much at all. So it makes it really isolated. So number one, it feels really effective. Number two, it's just not allowing me to cheat at all. So really isolating what I want up my shoulders. So I like this. Truthfully, took 3 or 4 weeks to get the setup correct, the height of the bench, the height of the cables, the positioning of the bench, all that kind of stuff. But now that I've got it, I've noted it all down. We should be good to go for, I don't know, a long period of time with progression with this one. So happy days there. All right, we're going to cap the workout, or this part of the workout now. I've got to train some people and do some work. And then we shall come back and finish off in a few hours.
Commencing workout part 2 here. So it's been a couple hours of work that I've had to do. Now I'm back to finish off the workout. So we're going plate loaded shoulder press next. I'm going neutral grip for myself today. So neutral grip or arm in here, meaning that I'm sort of working more towards the anterior part of my shoulder or deltoid. I've done a lateral raise. Now I'm sort of bringing it in to kind of also emphasize that anterior part of the deltoid. So some people don't do any of these kinds of things at all. They just rely on purely their pressing work to kind of take care of that. But I am still, it's an area I want to develop. And again, the idea that we want to make sure we take it close to failure, which doesn't happen in my chest work, or at least I don't notice it be the limiting factor. So neutral grip, palms facing towards one another. We're thinking, okay, make sure I'm driving my shoulder towards my head to use that anterior part of the delta. So when doing the shoulder press, if your goal is muscle growth, we're thinking about, again, pulling my arm towards my head, not like this, not just necessarily pushing the weight up. So we're trying to focus on anterior part. So I'm thinking this is pulling towards one another, and that's what's moving the resistance up. So
So something I'm going to do a little different this week is I'm going to do a top or a heavy set of 5 to 10 reps before I drop it down and do my lighter sets, just because I want to. It's fun and enjoyable sometimes to lift heavy, and also just make sure I'm, again, ticking that box of stressing the muscle out with high intensity. So may or may not make a difference, but it's fun, and I'm going to give it a crack today. All right, let's build up, and we are on. Plate loaded shoulder press done. So one heavy set, 5 to 10 reps is what I'm going with, and 2 lighter ones, 10 to 15 reps. Feels quite good. So another tip from the technique or the setup, you want the seat high enough that when your hands come to the bottom, again, we have that nice range of motion, that big stretch through the front part of the shoulder. If your seat's way down low, you might finish the movement here. We kind of want to finish over here, stretching those shoulders out and then coming from that position. All right, triceps coming up. Next up, back supported barbell upright row. Now this is out of order just because of availability of other machines. So I've got a bar here. I'm using a wall just to keep my technique and keep my body stable. So I'll grab said bar. Now the hand position I like to take on this is one that feels good on my wrists and feels like I can target my shoulders well, because that hasn't always been the case. So it's kind of shoulder width, slightly outside shoulder width apart. I'm driving my elbows up and out, focusing on the shoulder for this one. I'm doing a high rep range at the moment, which is going to be trying to get up to around about 20 reps on the first set. Only 2 sets here, and this caps off my shoulder work, and then triceps can come after that. Just availability for today. This had to come first. Got to get it in. All right, first set coming up. Make the upright row cool again. So that's my upright row. Supported by the wall to stop me from cheating or shifting my body around. Now, you got all those fandangle like lateral raise variations, people doing a whole bunch of different shit like this, but nothing wrong with that. Like, how that feels is really good. So I think an important thing to do, to keep in mind here, it's not just pulling it up like this, it's kind of elbows going outside. So we want to target the shoulder. The shoulder's essentially pulling my arm to move my arm, not this. There is a small amount of elbow flexion, but it's not this kind of curl in here. It's elbows up and out, focusing on the shoulder. So to me, feels good stimulus. I feel my shoulders working hard. That's pretty good for 2 sets. So, all right, let's go triceps coming up in a momento. Next up, lying cable skull crusher. So this is one of my all-time tricep favorites. A bit unusual. You could do this with a bar. I do it with a cable because I found after using this a couple of months, it's actually been 6 to 12 months ago I started using this one. It's always felt really effective for me, so I keep coming back to it. So you're essentially setting up like a straight bar, curl bar, some sort of bar at the bottom of the cable machine. I've got a box here. This is I don't know what they use these for, like a box jumps, I think, or step ups and stuff like that, because a standard bench doesn't allow a great range of motion for me. I'll shuffle my butt forward, reach back, grab a handle like such, lock into place when I'm ready to go. We've got that skull crusher or tricep extension movement. So when initially trying this one, takes a little bit of setup and getting the correct position, getting the correct box height, getting it set the right distance from the cable machine, all these kinds of things. But as time goes on, that all gets a bit easier and simpler. So 5 sets here, big emphasis at the moment, arms, so triceps. We're gonna smash them up with 5 sets. Let's get after it. Jolly good. First set there, that's a personal record for me on that one, so that's good. I did 3 sets at a heavy weight and the reps started to go down, down, down. And then I did 2 sets at a lighter weight, so that's good. Now, one thing to consider with this one is, you've got to kind of reach back for the thing. We want to set it up such that I can get it pretty easily. If you have poor mobility, this can be hard as well. So, but I'm able to get into position. Really like it, probably even prefer it than a standard skull crusher. So give it a go, let me know what you think. All right, 2 sets of triceps to go. Let's get it on. All right, my fandangled tricep exercise. So this is a pushdown variation where I've set this pole up between the functional trainer, or this tricep bar between the functional trainer. And the reason I'm doing this is this way I could set a height. So the difficulty of the exercise is at the beginning. Now, if you think about a standard push down, where the resistance is coming straight down, it's not really getting hard until you start going down. Here, I can change the height of this thing and make it hard from the beginning. So you think about it, if I set this height higher, again, until I'm directly versing the resistance, it won't get hard. So if it's high, it's when I start going down. If I set at the beginning, it's from there because it's resisting me back this way. So that's my rationale surrounding this one. And also just, it is an effective exercise and it feels effective for me, and tricep exercises haven't always. So there it is. There's your justification. All right, only 2 sets. All right, so that's my tricep pushdown variation. So in short, I do this one so I can make it hard from the beginning. So you think about a standard pushdown, my arm's in the same spot, but the resistance is versing me from like coming up this way. So it's not getting hard till I start to come down. Here, I can make the resistance come from there, making it hard at the beginning. So my arm's in a similar position, but it's harder in that position at the beginning. So I found this one I have merit. It takes a bit of getting used to, but actually works out well. The bench fits in there. We've got one of these bars between this small functional trainer or cable machine, and it feels quite effective to me. So 2 sets there to cap off the tricep work, and that's got us done. What else I got for you there? Yeah, that's it. Let's get out of here.
Okay, that's a wrap on the workout, guys. Push workout done in 2 parts today. Part 1 done early this morning. So that was at 4. Pretty early start, but that's what we had to do to get it in. If you want to get the most, if you have high expectations for yourself, you have to commit hard and sometimes do some things that other people won't do. So I mean, like that's pretty cool. That makes me feel pretty hardcore. And then backed it up from shoulder press onwards for that the rest of the workout. So I had to work a couple hours and then get that in, and then we're pretty back to back for the whole day now. So busy day, but yeah, to get it in, got to go early, got to get it in where you got to get it in. That's as simple as that. Good workout though. Performance was good, a couple little tweaks, making a couple sets heavier, and I actually didn't mind it. Body feels good doing it, so that's all good signs. So happy days. You know what? All roads lead to stiff-legged deadlifts tomorrow. So tune in for that. We're going 180 stiff-legged deadlifts. We're trying to build that up to 10 reps. That's one of the goals I set a little while ago, maybe a few months ago. So we're actually at the 180 kilo bar now, so it's pretty cool to see. And yeah, that's that. So as always, guys, if you like the kind of stuff that I'm putting out, click on my little face up here to subscribe. That would be really appreciated. If you want to see some of the other workouts that I've got, other muscle groups, click this playlist up here and that'll take you through all those. And always remember, it's about progress over perfection. Coach Dan, signing off.